How are you doing? Very well. Good to see you.
Combating the rise of hate speech, anti-extremism and things like that, and that's really, really important. So as I say, it's a huge privilege for me to be here. The Mansion House, this is the city's building since 1715, and the whole idea when they bought this was that they put up a room that's a forum for all citizens to come in here and to be able to use it. So that's why we're delighted to be able to host you all today. Black History Month should be a forum to inspire Africans in Irish society to develop and plan beneficial policies that reflect the history, the culture, the socio-economic needs of humanity, community groups, as well as to act as a lobby group in relation to issues that particularly affect that community right across Dublin and across Ireland. Racial discrimination is a real and pressing concern across society, and it's vital that we take proactive steps to foster understanding, empathy, and most importantly, inclusivity across Dublin. We must be an inclusive city. It's important that Dublin belongs to absolutely everybody because of and there's a motto, everybody counts or nobody counts. If it's not a Dublin for everybody, well then we're not achieving what we're supposed to be setting out to do. So as Lord Mayor of Dublin, it's really important for me to lead out on issues like this. When I got elected, there's 3 pillars or platforms that I really wanted to push. I want to push Dublin as a city of kindness. I believe we all need to be nicer to one another. In the middle part, a more inclusive Dublin, both for those who are neurodiverse and with accessibility issues, but also wider inclusivity in the city, because as I said, if the city's not a city for everybody, well then we're all failing in our duty as citizens. Black History Month aims to instill and carry on the observation and celebrate that legacy of diversity in education. Diversity, it's so important that we live and we breathe these values, and that cannot be underestimated. That idea of cultural tolerance, inclusion, learning from one another, and that needs to happen with local community groups in local areas, but also on a city level as well, so both on the macro and the micro level. And we've much to do this, both as leaders, but also as wider people within this room, that we go back to our own communities to foster that type of understanding. And coming together as a united, inclusive society, we create a better Ireland for all of us. And that's the most important thing here. It's about the creation of a better Ireland. You know, our founding document, our 1916 proclamation promises to cherish all the children of the nation equally. And we still have some road to go in order to live up to those ideals. But to go there we do, and we only do that through partnership, through inclusion. And that's why it's a huge privilege for me to welcome you all here to the Mansion House today. So, Gora Mila Mahagi, also from Gora the Vet Live, August Gora Mahagi, I'll suck on law shows, I'm sure okay, Gora Live. Gora Mahagi.
Thank you.
It's a shame we don't have so many people. This traffic. And so I'd like to take this opportunity to also welcome the chair of Aidi. Come and talk to us.
Thank you.
Please give her a hand.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is a shame with all the preparation that we put in place. Well, probably we could have chosen Wednesday, would have made a difference. But the thing is, we are here. And that is what makes a difference. It's Lord Mayor of Dublin, Dati University, our special guest, Mr. Aaron Dagenham of Africa Unit Development Corporation and Africa Division, Department of Foreign Affairs. A distinguished guest, esteemed members, and of course, fellow Irish citizens in the Republic of Ireland. Good day to you all, and welcome to our Irish welcome to, and a very warm welcome to you, Irish welcome especially. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome you to Africa Irish Development Initiative 2023 Black History Month celebrations. Today we join our initiative to kickstart our journey for Irish Initiative celebrations. As you know, October month is a month that is dedicated to celebrate the initiative of Africans and indeed, of course, acknowledge our heritage. This is actually acknowledged all across the world, and we embrace it here too. Actually, that's not a bad thing to do. Housekeeping, to keep put our voice and our phone messages on silence. Our theme for this year's Black History Month is Black Resistance and African Contributions. It serves as a powerful reminder and enduring struggle against systematic racism and oppressions, while also highlighting the incredible achievement and resilience of Black people in the face of adversity. Throughout all our events, as you will see in our programs, we have quite a number of them, we will embark on a journey to reflect upon and celebrate the remarkable history, achievement, and resilience of Black people in the face of adversity. Ireland may be a small island and on the edge of Europe, but our hearts and our values know no boundaries. We can say that tonight with this warm welcome by our mayor. We are proud to stand together as a community that recognizes the importance of acknowledging and the historical injustice, fighting against systematic racism, and celebrating the incredible contributions of Black individuals and communities throughout history. In celebrating under the theme of Black resistance, we acknowledge the struggle and resistance of Black individuals and communities throughout history, from civil rights movement in the United States to the fight against apartheid in South Africa, and countless other global struggles. Black people have stood up against injustice, discrimination, and inequality in unswerving determination. Their resistance has inspired us all to confront and challenge racism and persist on it today. The theme also underscores the importance of unity and solidarity in our fight against systematic racism. It reminds us that the struggle of injustice and equality is not a solitary journey, but a collective effort that transcends borders and backgrounds. Together, we can break down the barriers that continue to perpetuate discrimination and inequality in our society. African contributions have been instrumental in shaping the world we live in today. From the field of science, arts, music, literature, sports, to the whole of politics and academia, Africans and Black individuals have left an incredible mark on human history. Their diversity is celebrated, and the contributions of Black and African communities are recognized and valued. But we must also acknowledge that there is still work to be done. Systematic racism and discrimination persist in our society, and it is our duty to continue to fight against them. We must ensure that all individuals, regardless of their racial and ethnic background, have the same opportunity and treated with the same respect and dignity. As we commemorate Black History Month, let us commit ourselves to the principles of justice, equality, and inclusion. Let us work together to dismantle the systematic oppression that still exists and build a more just and equitable society for all. Let us celebrate the achievement and resilience of Black people and draw inspiration from our stories of resistance. In conclusion, Let us be reminded, especially as we kick off our events today, that Black History Month, or Black History, and its history of strength, courage, and determination. Together, we can ensure that the struggle against racism will celebrate the source of inspiration for us all as a catalyst and a positive change in our beloved Republic of Ireland. I hope that you enjoy the events that we will have across the countries for us and leave feeling very inspired and fight against racism and oppression. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really inspiring. So, Lord Mayor and honorable guests, my name is Nenja Mokema. I am the chair of INA, the European Network Against Racism. INA is actually the largest anti-racism organization, representing more than 150 organizations spread out all over Europe. This year, INA celebrates its 25th anniversary, and as part of this celebration, we've got this festival, Make Racism History. And our host, Zef, is also presenting this event in the context of this celebration, Make Racism History. Myself, my organization is Hand in Hand Against Racism, and we've been working on this topic for more than 30 years, personally 30 years. I'm 60, so yeah. One of the anchors, we anchor ourselves on decoloniality and intersectionality. We believe very much that we are all touched by that grind of the colonial mindset. We all need together to learn, unlearn, and relearn, these facts. So meaning we should learn the facts, the real histories, even when it hurts, because it's our shared history. We need to unlearn the lies or the fallacies or the untold stories. And we need to relearn, because this is how we can move on together. If racism is impacting upon you in any way, as a target of racism, as a witness to racism, as a victim, as a stakeholder, or a politician, policymaker, then let us own that problem, make it our problem, and be peers to work together as comrades to address that problem. So today I'm here to talk about Black History Month. That was just an introduction. Do not count it as part of my speech. So Black History Month is an incredible opportunity for all of us to acknowledge the myriad historical backgrounds and cultural heritages, to honor our history, our heroes and heroines, and to pay homage to our ancestors and revere our indigenous spiritualities. This year, I would like personally to focus on women. As a woman, as a grandmother, I feel that women are erased, silenced, ignored, denied. But Black History Month offers us the opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate outstanding achievements of Black women. Focusing on honoring the matriarchs of movements and saluting our sisters, saluting our grandmothers, saluting our children yet to be born. African women in the world at large can learn a lot from these African heroines today. So I call upon all of you, all of us, to acknowledge them, to honor them, to celebrate them, to commemorate them, and to memorialize them. Let us acknowledge Winnie Mandela, a South African apartheid icon. We honor her for her unwavering loyalty to her people and her fierce resistance against apartheid. Let us honor Spirit Nhanda Chagwe, who was a powerful medium of the Sisuzu of Shona in Zimbabwe, We honor her for her commitment to Zimbabwean resistance and liberation, and she still continues to inspire us. Let us acknowledge Empress Tetu Betul of Ethiopia, because she was the key figure in single-handedly vanquishing the marauding Italians. So we honor her for her, her resistance. We honor so many. We honor Miriam Makeba for her commitment to anti-apartheid activism. We honor Ya Asante Awad, who was influential we honor her for her commitment in vanquishing an army of thousands of British during the Ya Asante War of Independence. We acknowledge Queen Nani of the Maroons. We acknowledge Amina Sukera. I will not go through all of them because there's so many. We acknowledge Ilan Mbet of Ethiopia. We acknowledge Wangari Maathai of Kenya, who was a Kenyan environmentalist, activist, Nobel Prize laureate, who founded the Green Belt movement. And actually, she's the one who so many years ago made a link between development and racism and women's the role of women in the climate crisis. We don't know about this. We never hear about this, But some of the things that she talked about are still inspiring us today. Let us honor Maria Mabba for her commitment in promoting rights of women and denouncing polygamy and problems of the caste system in her society among the people of Senegal. Let us honor the Dahomey Amazons, who were feared warriors, group of warriors during the 18th century. But then I'm winding up with the Dahomey warriors. I don't know if any of you have seen the new movie, it's magnifique, I love it, but then it doesn't even represent who they were. I end with this because besides the war to secure their families' well-being, but utterly silenced, ignored, and for their contributions, many of them are susceptible to rape, mutilation, murder, and myriad other horrific crimes against humanity, but ultimately still silenced, erased, non-existent in public discourse. To date, African women continue to resist neocolonialism that has brought with it so many forms of oppression, including climate injustice, judicial killings, land grabbing, extraction of resources. All these oppressions in their turn perpetuate, exacerbate, and sustain other violences, gender-based violence, food poverty, radicalism, and of course, migration. Let us not forget how linked we are in all these problems. Let us not forget how we can start by acknowledging. Let us acknowledge and remember. Let us remember our history. Let us know that our history is shared, whether we like it or not, whether it hurts or not, whether it's painful or not. Let us not be held hostage by our histories, but use it as a platform. Use it as a platform to rise and to represent our future generation. Because bottom line, that's all we want. We want a better future for our children, a shared future for our children. There is no we, there is no they and we. It is us, our humanity, one people. So let us be mindful of one another, be kind to one another. Let us battle as comrades and peers amongst our siblings, and let us do all this for our generations, because they deserve better. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Zach to please come and please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. By the way, I'll say a little bit of history here. Black History Month started in Ireland in 2010 in Cork, and was supported by the then Lord Mayor of Cork City Council of Birmingham and the Cork City Council with University College of Cork. And history was made in 2014 when the current Lord Mayor now was elected first as council. And also Black History Month was officially launched in Ireland by European Representation Commission in Ireland and Dawson Street here, just a few doors from here. You can see how the whole thing is playing out with the mansion house. So to come back to the Oak Room, which is about 380 years this year, it's an iconic building for the Lord Mayor of Dublin, and we are talking about history. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to recognize the absence of the Taoiseach and the lawyer, Leo Baraka, who gave his apologies. And also, we were expecting some dignitaries from Africa, Pierre Lumumba, Honorable James Malema, and Trevor Tutu. They're supposed to be here with us today, but unfortunately their team has not been issued with the visas to make them to arrive. And I hope maybe before the end of the series of programs, they will visit Ireland. Pierre Lumumba has been very passionate about Ireland and has long wished to be in Ireland, and we wish that dream can be achieved, or that vision can be achieved. Anyway, let me not bore you so much. I just want to recognize the presence of the Director of INA, European Network Against Racism, Mr. Kim Smuter, who has actually made it possible for Ireland to be one of the countries chosen this year to launch in the whole of Europe in the next 20 years. So we thank you, sir. And also the chairman of INA, who made it possible to even arrive here a couple of days since Friday to make things easier for us to have this event on. Madam Chair, welcome. And also I want to thank the Chair of African Irish Development Initiative, Ms. Ima Nde, who has steered this organization in the last 6 years, thereabout, and also keep us going. Thank you, Ima.
Thank you.
I want to recognize the representation of the Department of Foreign Affairs under the African Unit, Development Cooperation and African Division, Mr. Aaron Dignam. Thank you for coming. And a couple of people who have arrived, who have come from far and wide. Ms. Keshwara Aidi, who are here to represent Mombokazi Queen Emilia Collier Aluko, who unfortunately has a very important visit to Zimbabwe for a very important errand. Thank you for coming. And the host, the media, and Nana Haji from the UK, thank you for coming. And my colleagues here in Ireland, you're welcome. I just want to start this way. Like I said earlier on, this program has been 308 years according to history. This is the resident of the Lord Mayors. It has been an official resident of the Lord Mayor and official venue for this Black History Month opening event today in the Republic of Ireland. If you permit me, I would like to start by saying the wise one once said a good speech should be like a comet. That's meant eye-opening and over before you realize it. I don't know how well to Black History Month started in 1926 in Chicago, Illinois, as a way of recognizing the achievement of people of African descent. When it first began, the celebration lasted just a week. Hence, started in 1905 in Chicago, Illinois, as a Negro Week. Maybe the initiators realized there were just too many good things to talk about in that short moment of time. Historian Carter G. Woodson selected the second week of February because of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, the abolitionists. It's a breathtaking time to step back to recognize the many great things Africans has brought to our world, and in particular, our Irish state. Just reflect with me for a moment. Olaobe Kwano, who once in Ireland here, preaching about the good things, the achievements, and the emancipation of the slavery. Frederick Douglass was a sojourner here, had some lectures with the UCC and also with Michael Connor in Dublin here, who is fine as his mentor and idol. We have some great men from the American soil: Sojourner Truth, Harry Bohr Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Nikki Giovanni, W.E.B. Dobbs, Rosa Parks, Angela Davis, and etc. How different would our world be without these leaders and a myriad of others who fought the civil rights all across the world over? These leaders have helped us learn what strength it is, and what perseverance is. They broke the barriers. They stood against injustice and overcome our dark days. These leaders, as I call them, and so many others, help to build towards a greater world where people are judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. However, it is not just civil rights where Africans have made their marks. When we think about music, you think about what kind of music with Louis Armstrong, Aretha Franklin, Billie Holiday, which is also an Irish descent, Bob Marley, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Tupac Shakur, Peter Tosh, Phil Leonard, who was an idol in Ireland, Lucky Dube, just to mention by a few. Without African contributions to music, we wouldn't have had what we call jazz today: blues, rap, hip hop, R&B, and arguably even rock and roll. How about science and technology? You talk about George Washington, Carver, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Philip Amawale. Of the internet we talk about today. Literature, you have Maya, Ralph Ellison, Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Michael Jordan, George Weah, who is now a president, and John Evans of England, and Chris Horton, who is also from this side of Ireland. Politics, you talk about Barack Obama, Condoleezza Rice, Rotimi Adebari in our island here, who was once a mayor in one of the counties here. And recently, we have Yemi Adenuga as a councillor here. We have Remo Adejimi as a councillor. We have JK Onwuman, a young councillor too. In Lagos, we have somebody who made some of us have residency here today, Mr. Emeka Ezane, Zefrina Ngalima, Osla Tui, Innocent Chukwueze, Ashimedwa Okonkwo, Jeffrey Wadige, and a host of others. The list could go on and on. Africa has made enormous impact in every sphere of life. What makes this so amazing is that it has simply not been long since blacks were legally excluded from so many aspects of Western life. For the young people here, I know it seems like ancient history, but for those with few good years on them, many of us have a case in hand is the killing of Church of Kemcho in Dublin. The gymnastics saga, just to mention by a few. However, we have seen some progress in the lifetime struggle for the Africans. It has not been an easy struggle though. At the moment, we don't have to go all the way back in history to slavery to see the effects of institutional racism in our country. You can go back to the events that happened in the lifetime of so many people here. Yet, just a few years later, we see the Civil Rights Act on and on. The laws kept coming to try to combat racism, but certain people kept finding ways to try to keep the status quo going. Fortunately, good people kept on fighting to beat back the injustice, to beat back the segregation and discrimination perpetrated on the black community, and that struggle continues today. That is the reason why we gather here today to celebrate Black History Month. We honor those who came before, we celebrate how far we have come as a society, but we also honor those who continue the struggle today, for the struggle is from far over. As we in history, I think when we look at the past, we applaud those who come before for doing great things. It is easy to look back at the past and see who was on the right side of history, separated as we go years and years. Hindsight is always 20/20. As the saying goes, it is easy to stand here today and say, school segregation was wrong, slavery was wrong, denying people the right to vote was wrong, stratification is wrong, but we must not do that part of that struggle in that time, and that was that time that good people stood by and watched as the bad happened. Good people remain neutral and look the other way, so they would not have to do the hard thing and stand up for what was right. According to the words of Desmond Tutu, if you are neutral in a situation of injustice, you have chosen the side of your oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse, and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. I also want to ask you to listen, engage with views different from your own, and share your perspective, but also listen. Listen with kindness in your heart, not anger. If we listen to each other, if we treat each other with respect, we can find ways to overcome our modern day problem together, which stems from discrimination and racism. I want to say lastly that while we gather here today is how we actually make our society safer, make everybody belong, make us sing the song of one community, one village, one world. If I should borrow from the word of the Lord Mayor, we should have a community that has no power, but see us as human beings. On that note, I want to thank you again for honoring our invitation today. It is truly has been a pleasure. I would also like to leave you with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who says, a quote, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Let us, if we work together, we can continue to make great strides to a better future. Let us make racism a history. Thank you very much.
The first decolonial person in this world is Roger Casement. Roger Casement was an Irish from Ulster, from Antrim, and you can't be more embedded in colonialism than Roger Casement. But Roger Casement, he made a turnaround. At the last time when he was held, after being captured in Kerry, when he was held at the Tower of London, dictating to his itinerary, Roger Casement said one thing. He said, "I now look upon myself as an African." When we say we are African in Ireland, we have to actually look at this Roger Casement notion of African in Ireland. So that is one part of the scholarship I'm doing, and I don't know if I'm interrupting the program, so I don't know how many times I have.
Sorry, I think it should be a bit interactive. I didn't know you were going to do that before starting to record. Where is Collins House? Where are those artifacts?
This is the Collins Barrack. This is the National Museum of Ireland. Right here you find the museum in Kildare Street. You see, when you go to this museum, you never knew there's an African collection there. But start from the ground. Look at the Tarago.
Okay.
When you look at the Tarago, if you know Tuareg, if you know how the fashion of Africa, anywhere, you must not start with slavery. There's pre-slavery. There's the history of Ireland, and I have literature, I'm doing a book on it. So you look at this Irish gold. When the Tara gold was discovered in Ireland, there was a debate, there's no gold being mined in Ireland. Where is this gold coming from? So it goes into the whole Iberian connection with Ireland, that probably there's a connection of importing gold. People say it's Jewish, but we now realize it's coming from Spain, Egypt, and from Africa. So that is one. And subsequently, then you would then go into you find the Egyptian gallery. You can see the African India. But the most, and if you look at, I'm jumping now, if you look at the 1916 commemorative exhibition in Ireland, there is no bigger history of Ireland than the history of 1916. Right, if you go to that collection, it moved now, it was in Colin Barrack, you see the Roger Casement axe. So that's the importance of Roger Casement to our history, to Irish history, and the colonization is everything.
Awesome.
You get what? When you look at now, we're doing the colonization of African studies. When you see what does the colonized African study looks like, you have to start from the Roger Casement Congo report.
Thank you.
Because the report is what brings all of us to the beginning of the colonization. Roger Casement went into a critical ethnographic study. He studied this society pre-contact with European, pre-King Leopold Ghost, and said, this is how they live, this is the population. Then he went ahead and said, after colonization, this is what remained of the people.
Wow.
Roger Kingsman was what? An Irishman.
Roger Casement was an Irishman.
Okay.
He is for us, he's the greatest Irishman. So you look at what he did in the Congo. He repeated this again in Portamano, in South America. And the exhibition that he created around him recently, 4 years ago, there was an exhibition of Roger Casement, and you can see the African artifacts he brought. Apart from the ace, he has an Nkisi. And Nkisi is more like epistemic platform. You get what I mean? To know, it's like this our divination or something, but it's very, very modern. Now we are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about robots. Nkisi is like a prototype of an artificial intelligence. So all of us have this thing which we have discarded as something in an angle that can talk and be spoken to. So those are me. So I'm basically working on this museum collection. I have support from the National Museum of Ireland, National Museum of Northern Ireland. I'm just finishing a year of visiting fellowship on the project at Trinity College here, and I'm still engaged with the Northern Ireland Museum and the University in Belfast. So this is, if we have then, the importance of this for understanding who we are in this island is to say we just come here yesterday, and we are not here primarily just talking about us being asylum seekers, being the narrative. Unless we change that narrative, that everybody imagines we are always asylum seekers. No. You know, we have a 3 years of history, the intersection of African and Irish history. Journalists was very African for 2 years, from 1896 to 1898, before he came in. And here too, like all history, you know, history of, let's talk about African studies. All of us know what African studies is in the UK. We know African studies around this world now. The main engine behind African studies is Alistair Green. Alistair Green is an Irish national. Our house is here, 90 St. Stephen Green Street. She, based on the legacy of Mary Kingsley, along with Edward Blyden. All of us know who Edward Blyden is. Edward William Blyden. Edward Blyden was an ex-doc, was before, this is the early 1800s, he moved from America and went into Liberia to settle. But everything we're studying about African history, the coloniality, everything, it's based on Edward Blyden. People like Nkrumah, people like Garvey, people like Frederick Douglass, all these scholarships we build on Edward Blyden. Edward Blyden was a contemporary. This is 1900, he died in 1922. But they come around, they paid money to form the African Society, which now become the source of African history, African studies. And so the most important thing is Mary Kingsley, Alistair Green. Alistair Green was the main defender of Roger Kingsley. And before even then, they have the Congo Reform Association, which the Congo Reform Association is the other arm, because Roger Kingsley was a British official. He cannot show his face, but he has his own data, and instead we come to his Irish homeland. You get what I mean? So this asymmetry, this intersection, is a big issue. So as we gather here, we shouldn't mind. The revolution will not be televised. We don't need a lot of the people on the track. We don't need few dedicated people to move things. So on my own, I think there's a lot going on here. There's a lot we can do, both on ourselves as Africans. See, what is going on here? Here is Sinn Féin. You have to do things for yourself. You get what I mean? Let's do it for ourselves, and then we can find allies. But when if this is organized by any other people, we'll be full here. But when we organize it, you see where we are. So I think I commend the organizer very much. I'm really grateful, and my sister Stella, I thank you very much for inviting me, because I met a sister, and you can see all our story. I met her on Saturday, and we started talking, and she invited me in. You get what and I can see what is on the ground. I can see the effort, I can see the support, I can see what we can do. You know, to bring in numbers is easy. If you put a poster there, and that is one thing I must say, our children are here now, just down the road at Trinity. You see, we are getting old. At this age, we should be able to show our success, we should be able to just sit down like this, and this our young student from Trinity, everywhere, should be doing what we are doing. You get what I mean? Then we are sure of the sustainability. But if we are still doing it, we are not supposed to still be sitting here. Our father's house doesn't have a plaster, doesn't have a roof. You know, and we are here still doing something. You know what, Big Island? We have tried here. We have to encourage our little children in university. We have all these things. There should be a chapter in Trinity, a chapter in undergraduate students. So at home, we have already coached them through our educational school. So by today, we are just sitting down. And you can see how proud we are. Because they have more things to coordinate, to bring people. That is what we call Afrofuturism. You know, they have this technology on their lap to bring themselves to. Even as we are sitting here, if it is them, they are communicating with themselves on campus. They develop an app already. So that is where we should be looking forward to. So I thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to go to the podium, but I'm one to thing. We have African society in most of the universities is to do awareness and publicity to make them involved in our team, not solo things. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm really glad I invited you. And yeah, we need to hear more about this. There's a lot that we don't know. You know, when people are talking about decolonization, many think that it is, you know, like the North Africans who need to be decolonized. But actually, we all need to learn these facts so that we can unlearn. We all need to know who's not being heard and who's being erased, so we can relearn how to get along. And the points that you made on the backs of our ancestors, you know, we are not held hostage by them, but we do stand on the back of our ancestors, and we are struggling and combating as comrades with our siblings so that we can impart this knowledge to our children and grandchildren. So yes, you're right. I would like to take this opportunity to invite Kim to come and talk to us. Welcome, Kim. Kim is the director of Aidi.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair is my boss, so I need to make this speech actually make sense and be inspiring and all that type of thing. Otherwise, it will reflect that in my end-year review, so I will do my best. On behalf of the European Network Against Racism, I wanted to first of all thank you for all being here, and thank very much Zeph and the organizing team for all of the hard work that you have put in place to make this event a possibility today. Black History Month, as we have heard progressively, is so important because it is important to understand where we've come from. It is important to understand all of the unsung stories which have been systemically reduced and removed from our collective memory, and to relearn those things, and to relearn and to inspire ourselves from the achievements of the past. Because African history is a history not just of Black people, it is a history which is shared, it is a history which has not been celebrated enough, and it is a history of human perseverance, of human ingenuity, of human creativity, of human ability to overcome countless obstacles to continue to achieve more and more and more. So Black History Month is an important element, and I'm so pleased that we're organizing it here in Dublin because we are connecting it with the rest of Europe. The European Network Against Racism is a network which brings together countless of organizations from across Europe working at a grassroots level, but inspiring one another to improve the work that we do combating racism across Europe. This event is connected to the Make Racism History Festival. It is an event that is taking place across 10 European countries, across 10 cities, and our ambition with Make Racism History Festival was to actually enable all of us to interconnect and to realize that the challenges that we're experiencing here in Ireland are not unique to Ireland. They're also challenges that are being experienced in Luxembourg, in Belgium, in Bulgaria, in Poland, in Portugal. And what makes ENAR so special is that it is actually a common forum for us to share those experiences, to learn from one another, to inspire each other to achieve greater things, because we know that the world that we want to give to our children is one that isn't looking like the one today, but is actually a better one. And Make Racism History Festival is all about that. It is about not just remembering the troubles that we have experienced, the pains that we have experienced, the traumas that we have experienced, but it is also about celebrating the things that make us so great. ENAR is celebrating its 25th anniversary. It is 25 years of pan-European proactive activism to try to make Europe a more inclusive world, to try to make Europe more true to its ideals of unity and diversity. ENAR exists because they're not shared by just one community, but they are shared by all communities, and that when one of us falls, all of us stand and rise together to ensure that those that are fallen are lifted back up. And that is the beauty of Europe, but that beauty of Europe can only be realized when our organizations, our communities are also supported. So for us, Make Racism History is not just about remembering our historical past, remembering what our ancestors have given us, but it is also about making racism truly history, making racism something that is relegated to the past. And so I hope that in 25 years from now, an organization like ENAR ceases to exist, not because it has no more funding, but because there is no longer a need for it. There is no longer a need for it because we will have achieved a year which recognizes each and every one of us for our full potential, for a year that recognizes that our full potential has to be realized by combating systemic racism, by combating structural racism, by combating individual racism, and that we each and every one of us have responsibility to make that happen. But particularly that those who are in politics, those who are in positions of power, that it is their innate responsibility, that it is the moral responsibility to make sure that they combat this scourge that continues to fester in Europe, and continues to prevent the European ideals to come into reality, and to prevent Europe from truly making amends with its history that it has done, the damage that it has brought to the rest of the world. Only when it will do that will we be able to actually have a relationship of peer-to-peer with our fellow Europeans. So with that, I thank again Zeph for being one of the co-host cities of Make Racism History Festival. I hope that we will celebrate well this week. I know that the other 10 countries are very excited to be part of this journey with you. And it is together that we will ensure that the voice of anti-racism rings loud and proud, and that Europe understands that racism must be relegated to the past. Let's work together to make racism history.
So, I thank you for that, Kim, and I would like to very much welcome my sister, Nisha. You're representing the Queen, who cannot be here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say in her place. Thank you very much. Welcome. So, greetings to you all, esteemed and honored guests. My name is Kesheniwa Agaji. I'm an artist, Emilia Aluko, of the Munhumutapa Empire in Zimbabwe. She is paramount chief of the Bakolokoe Kingdom in South Africa also. The Queen says thank you for your invitation to speak at this event for Black History Month in Ireland. She says, let me begin by saying that Africa is the world's next big growth market. We know that, we see that. And that greater innovation and investment from business is essential to meet Africa's unfulfilled demand for goods and services, to close the gaps in its infrastructure, to create jobs and decrease poverty. More than 80% of Africa's population growth over the next few decades will occur in cities, making it the fastest urbanizing region in the world. The expected annual spend by African consumers and businesses is projected to reach nearly 7 trillion by 2030. So, then, Africa is wheeling and coming again, as they say in Jamaica, as the world's next great creative, innovative, industrialized and production center. So we know that Ireland wants to be a partner in Africa's next chapter. So I want to ask some questions. Is it that in pretty much most social situations at all times of the day, racism against men, women and children of all ages is preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month in the country? It does not officially exist. There is a Irish Afrophobia. It is an everyday racism that stems from a fear because black people look different? Is it the lies and the racist propaganda about black bodies that is preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month in the country? So, then, Africa is wheeling and coming again, as they say in Jamaica, as the world's next great creative, innovative, industrialized and production center. So we know that Ireland wants to be a partner in Africa's next chapter. So I want to ask some questions. Is it that in pretty much most social situations at all times of the day, racism against men, women and children of all ages is preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month in the country? It does not officially exist. There is an Irish Afrophobia. It is an everyday racism that stems from a fear of history. Is it because black people look different? Is it the lies and the racist propaganda about black bodies that is preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month? Xenophobia. Fear of the colour black. Is it the verbal abuse, the physical assaults, the purposed humiliation of black people in public that is preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging Black History Month in the country? Is it the ignorant and violent behaviour performed by some Irish people that is preventing Ireland from formally ratifying Black History Month in the country? Because this is called Negrophobia, fear or dislike of black people. Is it the overt performance of racism against people of African ascendants of all ages in Ireland, a denial of a medal for a black child at an international gymnastics competition, blatantly performed for the world to see without question from anyone on the team, on the gymnastic team watching? Yeah, this is the Afrophobia. Again, fear, dislike of Africans. Or is it the view that there is no such thing as cultural racism? Is it the denial of the growth in racism by recent immigrants from Europe? Not a big deal? That there are problems in the workplace for black people? Is this what's preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month in the country? Yeah? Tapheophobia is the fear of graves. And graves also are a metaphor, a symbol representing what is hidden, which brings us to the ultimate phobia, which is emetophobia. The fear of secrets. It is called the secret phobia. Talking about Africa is an anxious experience, or the history of Africa in this country is an anxious experience. The other person might question what's involved in the thinking and talking about that fear. Emetopia is the fear of control of the Africans that motivates a lot of the decisions. Emetophobes don't trust easily and don't like sharing information, their history, because it feels like letting go of some control. Bearing in mind that the enslavement era and colonialism was directly led by many Irish. There is the social anxiety, meaning feeling not in control of what another person does or thinks, and so reacting violently. And then there is the unease that the other person could use their own history against them. And then there is the controlling of the exposure of black people, dealing with the uncertainties of other people having knowledge of their phobia going into the mix. Anti-historical. That is Ireland today. Ignoring history or intentionally removing things that remind people of past events. I go back, it's not Ireland of today, it's an Ireland that underpins what the racism is. Give thanks for the brother that is doing the research at the university. That's a massive step. It's where that university is going into the minds of the child who goes to the gymnastic competition, receives a medal, but the black child next to her doesn't. Do you see? So this historical is an approach of many people now. They subscribe to an anti-historical narrative. They're reforming the language, which is what English does. Emulsification, a distortion of a historical record. And usually the people who do historical negation, what they want to achieve is a national political aim by transferring war guilt, demonizing an enemy, providing an illusion of victory by engaging and providing bits and pieces as morsels to eat in recognition, right? And so they are preserving a friendship. But who is that self-preservation friendship with? Shall we go back to the Anglo-Boer War? The brother mentioned it, where in fact Ireland generally supported the Boers. Okay. Is this preventing Ireland from formally acknowledging, ratifying and mandating Black History Month in the country? Because it's not preventing Ireland from having business in South Africa. So the Taoiseach has the Global Island Strategy for Africa. Let's talk more about that tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm missing somebody, but when I look at my list, I'm sad that so many people could not make it here. You know, this whole issue of migration and visas, and it's so harrowing, you know. So I'd like you, my brother, to help me. Is there somebody who should be speaking now, who is present here, and who can say something? Because I know I can propose someone. I'm looking at you, Madam Hajar. Right? Yes. Please.
It was Aaron who was supposed to speak first.
I don't see them. When we are having an event like Black History Month, we have to remember that it triggers a lot of traumas. You know, some things that maybe we've forgotten, and we've been so used to carrying these traumas that we don't even realize it, and especially when we are among our own. But let's be mindful of that. Let's be mindful of our well-being. Let's be mindful of each other's well-being. And let's be conscious that when we don't feel well, it did not just happen for nothing. Subliminally, we're hurting all the time. I'm very, very proud and inspired by the conversations we've had this morning. I'm sure some of them are going to trigger a lot of, critical reflections, not only about, other people and how they see us, but also about, let us be very, very intentional in uncovering those voices that have been silenced, erased, negated, ignored, denied. Let us all be very, very conscious that we are siblings. Whether we like it or not, even whilst respecting our heterogeneity, and we do have it, but we are siblings. That's the first thing. We are siblings, and as siblings, let us stand on the backs of our ancestors without being held hostage to them or being anchored to them, but let us know that we are here because others were here before us, and we are continuing now because others are standing next to us. Next to us, in front of us, behind us, and we are doing what we are doing because we wanted our children to have better. We are doing it for our children, we are doing it for their betterment. So let us please all commit to learning, to unlearning, and to relearning. Let's commit, all of us, to actually meet here, not with one, each of us. If each of us takes 10 of our brothers and sisters, and another 10 of our brothers and sisters say, let's go. This room can be filled with 1,000. So let's be very, very unapologetically black and proud, African and proud, and let's amplify one another. There are some very interesting things happening where our voices are lacking. I was in Geneva and in New York with my sister for the Permanent Forum. There are voices that are claiming that we enslaved them, so we should be paying them retribution. Africa is going to pay for its own colonialism. People, wake up and speak. Speak up. Wake up and tell them that no. Don't tell people talk about, climate justice. Tell them talk about climate racism. Wangari Maathai called it what it was. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's not be fooled by this huge colonial monuments they call language. Because when they tell you inclusion, what are they saying? Are they saying include yourself to Nigeria? Include yourself to Kenya? No, they're saying include yourself to us. So question when they say inclusion. What do you mean by inclusion? When they say diversity, right now we are diverse. Right now we are diverse. But is that diversity? Have they been dealt with our problem? No, they haven't. And by the way, when they say, oh no, we're not going to talk about development, we're going to talk about international solidarity. What is international? Well, only one part of the world decides what a nation is. One part of the world decides who has got democracy, who can sit at the table and talk as a democratic people. That is not international. Don't be fooled. Solidarity. When they are having crisis here, and we have experts who have studied for it and have experienced certain things, and they say, oh, we are going to go there with a group of experts and volunteers to help them in solidarity. Yeah, you think we will be able to come here? No, because solidarity is one way. So don't tell them to use things like solidarity. We don't solidarity. Oh, let's go to the big one, human rights. Human rights? When human rights are being created? And after all, human. So human rights, question them and tell them, decolonize human rights. First of all, tell us who is human and who is not, and who is at the gatekeeper of deciding who is human. So you need to be very, 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 very intentional about what they're saying. And break it down and ask them, what are you saying? When they say equality, if right now we all got 10,000 and there were also the same number of white people got 10,000, do you think we'll achieve the same? No, because nobody is taking into account the vacuum that was created by our exclusion. The fact that we did not have the same kind of opportunities in education, we did not have the same, and all these things will make us never ever equal. We have to insist that people talk about equity. Because yes, let's talk about equity. Let's not talk about things that don't make sense. We want coherence, yes, but we need to know that you're treating us as peers, which is why I'm reminding you, do not allow people to come and say, oh, I'm your ally, and then say, it's good, let them be allies. That's how we are. We just accept it. taking, and if they're taking away our cake, we say yes, no. What is an ally? An ally will go home and sleep easy. An ally knows that's not my problem, but then I'm supporting you. I'm right next to you. You know? So you tell them, if this thing is bothering you so much that you want to be my ally, own it. Own it and come and stand by me as my peer and be my comrade, and let's deal with this thing together. So let's work with comrades. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you.
I thank you for today, and let's do more. Let's do more. Thank you very much.
Your speech.
Thank you. It was better than my written one.
Yeah, it's better than your written one, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I'm happy that we've come to this stage, and there's nothing else anybody can tell us than now to act. I am so happy that today has come, and tomorrow will also be. We are having another session tomorrow at another iconic building in this country, the Royal Irish Academy, where most of the historical research in this country is being done for centuries. So I am so happy that we are able to bring some of us who have lived in this country for years into this building. It's a privilege, and it's a right. One of the first black people who live in this building, Olaoda Okwana. He was called a slave, but he was free. So, and we are here today. I just want to thank the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Dati the Rusty. Also, I want to thank the director of INA. That's so fantastic. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank, I don't know what to say, how to call him, sister, auntie, mother, and co. Since the very day I catch up with her in Brussels, we have been like, we are created the same day, we're twins. And she has been here since Friday with us. The director calls her my boss, and she has taught me to be our boss. The African Queen, the another Mary Makeda, the face of Africa, the color of Africa, fearless, say the way it is, make it happen. Nchama, Stella. I have learned so much since Friday. The director said, oh, I don't know you're so calm. I have gotten a cancel, if you don't know, this Friday. So, and I thank you so much. I want also to thank, I don't know how to describe her, since yesterday I picked her at the airport. I have been so impressed. I want to thank you so much. And I also want to thank Your Highness for convincing you to be here. And also, we can also now agree with me that we have a voice. I just want to thank you. Just one other person who has been so quiet, who said, I'm going to talk tomorrow, Nana Haga. Maybe when she talks, you cannot know that she cannot only face the crowd, but she can also face the United Nations. Another fearless queen, say the way it is. I want to thank you for coming. My efforts are paid. my very good brother. I met him first in Düsseldorf last month. And while we were talking, I told him I had this program. He said, I will be there. I thought he was just joking. But 2 days ago, he told me I'm on my way to thank another prominent white person who works behind the scene of when things happen, Chief Teddy Sosuji. I was so surprised. About 3 days ago, he called me. I will be in Ireland. I just want to be in your program. I thought maybe he just so. About 2 nights ago, he called me. Oh, I'm somewhere in Dublin. And I thought, really? He said, yes. So he's here today with us. And my very good brother from South Africa. Well, I see things doesn't happen by chance. They happen by divine. I think you fit into the project that is being maybe turned into a movement. Your speech today is quite motivating.
Yes.
And it's a challenge, we're going to take it. It has to be done. Africa was built by Africans. And nobody else. I just want to thank my good brother, Kachuku. We all started this thing at the University College of Cork in 2010. I'm so happy you're here today with us. He's a journalist. He writes extensively. He has what we call Africa World, which is very much international. Thank you for coming. I also want to thank my chairperson who makes me standing every time. So, one the T to the cross, I to the dot, and sometimes we keep sleepless nights. Imani, thank you so much. I just want to say, it's not a matter of quantity, but a matter of quality.
True. True.
I've been so inspired by the director of INA. Him, you must be here, really. So put it in your diary because I'm not going to let you go. So I am so pleased we have a project together. Make racism a history. And when start the building of Africa and the building of humanity. So, you're not going away. So I just want to say, part of what we're doing here, can all of us here sign, mentor a youth, teach a youth about African culture, African heritage, and let us use it to build an intercultural community where equity, not equality, will reign. And people should not be seen. I don't see color, like Lucky will said, but I see humans. So let it be a word in every mouth. And by then, the prejudices will go, the discrimination will go, and maybe we turn the racism into an industry of building, industry of unity, whereby everybody, in any endeavor you find yourself, will be able to build a better community. I just want to say, can we go out there and tell one person tomorrow to be with us? Because we have a very unique topic tomorrow. Let us explore our opportunities and what we can use the opportunities to do. I just want to thank you for coming. It is my pleasure. And also our cameraman. You are the face of us in the world now, so thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
On this note, one other person here who is very unassuming. He has done great works, unnoticed, but very soon people will know. He has what we call iCloud. iCloud might also turn into IA, artificial intelligence. You see how the world is microzomed in a way that a lot of things we take for granted matters a lot. When you talk about racism, you look at you, how do you look at the other person out there? So if you value that person, make sure that you're going to do it. Very much. Thank you. And I don't want to hold you much. We still have time to talk. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you all tomorrow.
And then actually exclude
The organizer.
Zev Ike. Yes, because not only are you an integral part of the event today, you've not just sown a seed, but you have also been the complete initiative and bringing them together. So thank you for allowing this platform to come, for enabling it, and for also motivating us to be part of it. Because let's not forget exactly what has really come together in all the speeches that have been given today is it takes one and more, but somebody has to start to sow that seed. And you have been that person. So thank you very much.
Okay. So I got my card, right? Because we are giving you icon of humanity award in the US by next year. We are giving you an icon of humanity award next year.
But